What's up, guys? It's Billy and Bonsai. Hey guys, I just want to share how cute Bonsai is right now when he's sleeping. Look at him. Look at that. Look at that face. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the mind. When you think of your mind, what do you think? Is it something that you see as yourself, or do you see it as something that is you? Because those are huge distinctions to think about in terms of being aware of yourself. This is very important because you have to start disconnecting yourself from the products of the mind, which is called thought. And if you find yourself lost in thought or being controlled by thought, that's the work that you need to become aware of, because the mind is a tool that can be used in creating reality, but most are controlled by this tool of the mind because of the ego. And from my research and my own study of the ego and the mind, I always perceive the mind or any thought as a limitation or a manifestation of matter, and that for me in my own practice and my own work of spiritualizing my own consciousness, and in my experience, I think your mind begins to quiet itself once you stop feeding it or giving attention to narcissistic kind of thoughts. Because in a way, I perceive that thoughts are kind of like vanity, and the more that you are addicted to thought or in a train of thought, or kind of being held by the power of thought without realizing you have the power to create thought, and especially new thoughts, then that's when you start to really detach from the matrix of this mind, of this world. And it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of courage to step out, because until we have this realization of the mind as it being separate from us, but being a tool and yet still a part of us, you start to then see the power of your own thoughts and new thoughts. And so you realize that your thought is your energy. And if you're kind of being lost in it or controlled by this energy, it's actually draining your own energy. They call it like when you have narcissistic thoughts and then you have an emotion or emotional response to it, that's the ego basically doing its job. It's feeding off your emotions, or the juice, they call it, the ego juice. So anytime you have like a thought in any way, because all thought creates suffering, and unless you're aware of the thoughts, there's always a duality to them. So even if you think like, oh, that person's good, you automatically believe that there's some bad too, because that's the duality of thought. Your mind is always a double-edged sword, and until it's sharp enough to slice through their own thoughts and become so sharp that the mind is not controlled or manipulated by the ego with these limited thoughts that control you, that creates an emotional response that then feeds the ego this juice and this dragon, this power, to then keep it in a survival mode and safe in its comfort zone. The narcissistic thoughts are anything that is selfish only about you, which is about limitation and survival, like choosing to do something out of your own gain instead of maybe a greater good. Doing something together as a couple or a group instead of doing something out of a selfish reason, like, oh, you don't want to do this today, but your partner does. It's those little things that keep you in a way from peace and happiness, is these limited voices that are saying, no, I don't want to, or try to explain itself or rationalize and make excuses for a behavior that, if you realize, like when you start creating something or you start getting in the zone, you don't have thoughts. You're just intrinsically moving with your creative force and your energy and your love into something that you're visualizing in your head. And the thought is the only thing stopping you from whatever it is that you're willing to achieve, because if there is a thought, then there is matter being formed, which is a heavier state of mind, because if it's full of vibrations of lower limited thoughts, then your consciousness is low and full of negative vibrational thoughts. And the point of this discussion is for you to look at your mind and see it as something that has been implanted in you from generations of your programming of unconscious thoughts and beliefs, to now stepping aside from it, looking at it like you're in a laboratory and you're studying like this creature you've manifested, like a Frankenstein, that you have to realize that you created this self-imposed like enemy or creature inside of you that's just full of negative energy in life, and you need to love it, spiritualize it. You need to become aware of it, put your light on it, so then it can dissolve and become free of itself, because you're not feeding it narcissistic or limited negative thoughts. And a great example of this concept of the mind is, think of it as our mind has been taken away from us and implanted with a narcissistic mind or a thief's mind. And so you have a mind that is a criminal, is a narcissistic, psychotic, and negative being. We've been implanted in that because that's the collective ego. Like when you look at the reality, that's ego. Everything is ego, because the outside is a collective reflection of everyone's mind, and most everyone's mind is controlled by the ego. So then you can see how wanting to be a celebrity is just pure ego, and there's only a few that you can see do it for the joy of it, but you feel that in their work and everything like that. So there's always two sides to things, and in this reality there's always the germ of good and bad in all of us. So that exists in every corner of the world, you could say. But it's just the conscious awareness, which is called divinity. And I think that now at this time there's so much potential for everyone to reach enlightenment, which is the path of happiness and joy. So I'm always trying to help people become aware of that, because if you're already watching these videos, then that's the path to your destiny. Because it wouldn't be this concept of becoming conscious and enlightened wouldn't be existing in physical reality unless it existed a part of you as a potential of your destiny. So I know for me, these films are my destiny. My purpose and my happiness is this path of enlightenment and happiness and peace, because that's the only thing that really gives me purpose every day. When I wake up, honestly, I wake up and the first thing I want to do is read a book about spiritual knowledge or talk to someone about their own journey and my own journey. I want to connect deeply in a way that we can talk about these spiritual things without any judgments or ridicule or negative ways of thinking about our own journey, when it's like we're just learning to unfold and flower at our own pace. And if I can help you in any way to unflower in a more beautiful and pure way and a streamlined way, because of my excitement and my desire, my deep longing for this journey of back to myself, and then being able to communicate and express that to others through visuals and movies in a different way that's the same level of depth and energy. And so I know that's my destiny and that's what I'm doing. So I want to share that with you guys to help you understand that if this is already something of interest to you, it might also be a part of your destiny. So I want to honor that and tell you how grateful I am to be sharing that with you. And I'm excited to be sharing that with you because I know it's such a beautiful and fulfilling place to be. Even though the chaos around us might seem uncontrollable and fearful, it's just a process of unfolding and creating something new. And if you can maintain a certain level or a vibration of knowingness of peace and holding that peace consistent with you in your mind and love, then that's all you'll experience in physical reality. It's that simple. And the only difficulty is that altered part of us, that narcissistic, egotistic, selfish, and criminal-like mind that we have to conquer with love and determination and willpower, that you have the heart and the belief and love in yourself to be able to accomplish anything in your life, no matter what is happening on the outside. And then once you have that understanding, life begins to change, and you step into this inner journey of really finding and feeling who you are inside, and then you begin to unfold and bloom in a way that's natural, and you begin to see and feel that way in a completely different state of mind. So keep doing what you're doing, keep manifesting and becoming aware of your own energy and everything that is going on inside of you. And I'm so honored to be a part of that with you, and I'm so excited that we're on similar journeys, and I can't wait to see what comes out of it. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day. And again, thank you for watching this video. And please don't forget to subscribe to 58 on YouTube and join the 58 membership for more content to empower your life.